Hi students, welcome to lesson number 1, Definition and Emergence of Sociology. Now I am going to discuss about the definitions of sociology and the factors that contributed for the emergence of sociology as a scientific discipline. Sociology, which had once been treated as social philosophy or the philosophy of history, emerged as an independent social science in the 19th century. Auguste Comte, a French social scientist, is traditionally considered to be the father of sociology. Comte is accredited with the coining of the term sociology in 1839. Sociology is composed of two words, socius meaning companion or associate, and logos meaning science or study. The etymological meaning of sociology is thus the science of society. The main objectives are: number 1, to introduce the students to the basic understanding of sociology. Number 2, to make the student to understand the factors that have contributed for the emergence of sociology as a scientific discipline. Sociology has been defined in a number of ways by different sociologists. No single definition has yet been accepted as completely satisfactory. In fact, there are as many definitions of sociology as there are sociologists. Now, let us discuss and observe the various types of definitions given by some prominent sociologists. Auguste Comte, the founding father of sociology, defines sociology as the science of social phenomena subject to natural and invariable laws, the discovery of which is the object of investigation. Kingsley Devis says that sociology is a general science of society. Harry M. Johnson opines that sociology is the science that deals with social groups. Emile Durkheim defines sociology as the science of social institutions. Franklin Henry Giddings defines sociology as the science of social phenomena. Ogburn and Nimcoff define sociology as the scientific study of social life. Max Weber defines sociology as the science which attempts the interpretative understanding of social action in order thereby to arrive at a causal explanation of its course and effects. Kimball Young and Raymond W. Mack define sociology as the scientific study of the social aspects of human life. Alex Inkells says sociology is the study of systems of social action and of their interrelations. A careful examination of various definitions given by the sociologists makes it evident that sociologists differ in their opinion about the definition of sociology. Their divergent views about the definition of sociology only reveal their distinct approaches to its study. However, the common idea underlying all the definitions is that sociology is concerned with man, his social relations, and his society. Apart from this, it is also said that sociology as a scientific discipline focuses its attention on the study of various aspects of society such as social relations, social disorganization, social problems, social stratification, social processes, social change, social institutions, social control, etc. Therefore, sociology is a science of society. In fact, sociology began to emerge as an independent and separate discipline around the middle of the 19th century. Sociology, which is known as the science of society, is one of the youngest of the social sciences. It is one of the youngest sciences because only recently it came to be established as a distinct branch of knowledge with its own distinct set of concepts and its own methods of inquiry. Though sociology came to be established as a separate discipline in the 19th century due to the efforts of the French philosopher Auguste Comte, it is wrong to suppose that there existed no social thought before him. For thousands of years, men have reflected upon societies in which they lived. In the writings of philosophers, thinkers, and lawgivers of various countries of various epochs, we find ideas that are sociological. For instance, in the writings of Plato, Aristotle, Manu, Kautilya, Confucius, Cicero, and others, we find major attempts to deal methodologically with the nature of society, law, religion, philosophy, etc. Plato's Republic, Aristotle's Politics, Kautilya's Ardhashastra, the Smriti of Manu, Confucius' Analects, Cicero's On Justice are some of the ancient sources of social thought. Machiavelli's The Prince, Thomas Hobbes' Leviathan, Rousseau's Social Contract, Montesquieu's The Spirit of Laws, Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations had made attempts to project a picture of an ideal society free from all shortcomings. However, it was only in the 19th century that systematic attempts were made by Auguste Comte, Herbert Spencer, Emile Durkheim, Max Weber, and others to study society and to establish a science of society called sociology. Now, let us discuss the factors which contributed for the emergence of sociology as a scientific discipline. Modernity and social change in Europe and emergence of sociology. Cultural renaissance is said to have given birth to an important ideological paradigm in the human history, the ideology of modernism, and hence led to the dawn of the modernity in Europe. The term modernity is derived from the Latin word modernus, which itself is derived from modo, meaning just now or current. By this definition, modernity is a relative term which denotes the new practices as compared to the old. But in sociological and historical sense, it denotes a specific period in which Europe saw significant cultural and intellectual upheaval which laid the foundation of the contemporary modern world. Modernity was not only about some new liberal ideas and practices, but was also about the existential experience of the conditions that they produce even today and their ongoing impact on human culture, institutions, and politics. Some scholars were so deeply influenced by this new ideology that they saw it as a panacea to the then existing social deformities. Modernity became synonymous with a period which was marked by questioning of tradition, the prioritization of individualism over the collectivity, freedom of ideas, equality in all spheres of life, promotion of scientific and technological progress, rationalization of institutions and ideas, and finally, a movement from feudalism or agrarianism towards capitalism and the market economy. Industrialization, urbanization and secularization. In the political sphere, it also saw the development of the modern concepts like that of the contemporary nation state and its constituent institutions like representative democracy and liberal democracy. In this period, the old beliefs were liberally questioned and rationality emerged as a new religion. Rousseau, Montesquieu, etc. talked of modern political ideas, while Adam Smith, Ricardo and J. S. Mill talked of a new economic order. All these had a common thread, which is rationality of human thoughts. Further, new order started to replace the old order and it created considerable social upheaval and disturbance in society. In this background emerged the earliest sociological thoughts in the minds of Hegel, Comte and Spencer. They were mainly Western but with global consequences. Other events that took place were both discrete and continuous. As industries started to replace home based production, new forms of economic relations emerged. Industrial working also significantly altered other social institutions like family, kinship and household. Another event was a discrete event in the form of French Revolution. This was a never before event in the history of political arena and it disrupted the old feudal order. French Revolution has given birth to new ideologies such as individualism, utilitarianism, socialism, democracy, positivism and humanitarianism. At the same time, it also attracted sharp counter reactions from the conservative forces. As a result, the French society was shaken to its core and social scientists had new tasks at the hand to explain the upheavals in the society. It was at this juncture that a need was felt to devise new means to understand the society. This was the spark which gave birth to the discipline of sociology. The emergence of sociology as a distinctive discipline can be understood better if we look back historically at the bigger picture, which is linked with the dawn of modernity and includes intellectual ideas, material context and political development within which sociology was born and later grew. There are broadly classified as number 1 intellectual ideas, number 2 material and social developments, number 3 political developments. Now let us discuss how these factors have contributed for the emergence of sociology as a scientific discipline. Number 1 intellectual ideas. The Enlightenment as a European intellectual movement, especially in the late 17th and 18th centuries, led by Montesquieu and Rousseau, emphasized upon reason and individualism. It had a great influence on emergence of sociology. In fact, the earliest form of sociological investigation, that means positivist sociology, had much to do with the Enlightenment ideas of rationality and scientific investigation. Darwin's idea about organic evolution was another dominant influence on early sociological thought, and many of the early social thinkers started to believe that society too evolves in a similar fashion as the organisms do. They were also convinced that progress in knowledge of society on lines of natural sciences promised the solution to all social ills. For example, Auguste Comte, the French scholar considered to be the founder of sociology, believed that sociology would contribute to the welfare of humanity and it has to be approached as a scientific discipline. These ideas reached a very mature state in France, which ultimately became the birthplace of sociology, and Alexis de Tocqueville, Claude Saint-Simon, Auguste Comte, Herbert Spencer and Émile Durkheim became the face of French sociology with their seminal formative work. Comte was the first to use the term sociology, and he believed that study of sociology would be scientific. He developed his scientific view of discipline in the form of positivism or positive philosophy. He developed social physics initially, and in 1839 he called it sociology. Number 2, material and social developments. Material developments are understood in the form of arrival of industrial revolution and growth of capitalism. Industrial revolution gave birth to factory system of production, led to emergence of middle class and dismantling of feudal estates. These developments not only had certain positive outcomes, but they also had negative fallout. In the economic sphere, though there were cities earlier as well, the industrial cities gave birth to a completely new kind of urban world. Factory system replaced the home based production. The period was marked by the soot and grime of factories, by overcrowded slums of the new industrial working class, degradation of labor, bad sanitation, general squalor and new forms of poverty. Workers were forced to work in dehumanizing conditions under the new factory system. New forms of crime, including petty thefts, also emerged. In the social sphere, nuclear family emerged. It led to issues of increased incidence of domestic violence, breakups, etc. Middle class also emerged as a new structural class and led to new cleavages in society. Then third point, political developments. The biggest event that affected emergence of the discipline was the French Revolution, which itself was influenced by the Enlightenment philosophy. Although a general context was present throughout Europe, but an immediate context for the rise of sociology was present in France with its unique socio-political situation. The upheaval that French Revolution created served as the immediate context for emergence of the discipline. Prior to the revolution, France was trapped in an archaic socio-economic condition, and feudalism was a hallmark of this society. Society was divided into estates, that is, three of them: the nobility, the clergy, and the commoner. It was a highly distorted system in which the first two estates ruled the roost at the expense of the commoner. It bred a lot of discontent and tension in the society, and ultimately the French Revolution provided the environment which led to replacement of old feudal system with a new one. Ideals of democracy, liberty, and fraternity given by the intellectuals like Montesquieu and Rousseau became the new watchwords, but they did not come easily, and the old system resisted stiffly. As a result of these churnings, a tussle between the old and the new ensued that created a condition of great uncertainty. The revolution was no disruptive that it affected all the sphere of life, and a general sense of anarchy and insecurity became rampant. In this situation, the early social thinkers sought to find the answers to the questions posed by the French Revolution. Intellectuals like Saint Simon, Auguste Comte, Herbert Spencer, and Emile Durkheim provided the early ideas which laid the formal foundation of the discipline. They made a bid to understand the cause of these new events and their consequences for society. As discussed earlier, it was Comte who called the new set of thoughts as sociology for the first time. Spencer followed the footsteps of Comte and gave the idea of social evolution similar to biological evolution. Efforts of Durkheim led to the establishment of sociology as the first department in France and Europe. Thus, despite a general impetus being present in Europe, sociology emerged as a distinct discipline in France in the backdrop of French Revolution. On the basis of this discussion, we can understand that sociology came to be established as an independent and a separate social science in the middle of the 19th century. Various factors paved the way for its emergence. Ian Robertson, in his book Sociology, has mentioned of three factors that hastened the process of the establishment of sociology as a separate science. They may be summarized like this. Number one, industrial revolution and industrialization. Industrial revolution that took place first in England during the 18th century brought about sweeping changes throughout Europe. Never before in history did social changes take place on such a massive scale. Sociology emerged in the context of these sweeping changes. Factory system of production and the consequent mechanization and industrialization brought turmoils in society. New industries and technologies changed the face of the social and physical environment. The simple rural life and small scale home industries were replaced by complex urban life and mass production of goods. Industrialization changed the direction of civilization. It destroyed or radically altered the medieval customs, beliefs, and ideals. Industrialization led to urbanization. Peasants left rural areas and flocked to the towns, where they worked as industrial laborers under dangerous conditions. Cities grew at an unprecedented rate, providing an anonymous environment for people. Social problems became rampant in the fast developing cities. Aristocracies and monarchies crumbled and fell. Religion began to lose its force as a source of moral authority. For the first time in history, rapid social change became the normal rather than an abnormal state of affairs, and people could no longer expect what their children would live much the same lives as they had done. The direction of social change was unclear, and the stability of the social order seemed threatened. An understanding of what was happening was urgently needed. Then second one, inspiration from the growth of natural sciences. 19th century was a period in which natural sciences had made much progress. The success attained by the natural scientists inspired and even tempted good number of social thinkers to emulate their example. If their methods could be successful in the physical world to understand physical or natural phenomena, could they not be applied successfully to the social world to understand social phenomena? As an answer to this question, Comte, Spencer, Durkheim, Weber and others successfully demonstrated that these methods could be used to study the social world. Third one, inspiration provided by the radically diverse societies and cultures of the colonial empires. The colonial powers of Europe were exposed to different types of societies and cultures in the colonial empires. Their exposure to such diversities in societies and cultures provided an intellectual challenge for the social scientists of the day. Information about the widely contrasting social practices of these distant people raised fresh questions about society. Why some societies were more advanced than others? What lessons could the European countries learn from comparisons of various societies? Why the rate of social change was not the same everywhere? The new science of society called sociology had emerged as an independent science in an attempt to find convincing answers to these questions. It is clear from this analysis, sociology was born out of the attempt to understand the transformations that seemed to threaten the stability of European society. Social thinkers like Comte, Spencer and others argued that there was an urgent need to establish a separate science of society. They believed that such a science would be of great help in understanding the nature and problems of society and to find out solutions for the same. Development of sociology in the 20th century. In the second half of the 19th and in the beginning of the 20th centuries, a large number of sociologists and social thinkers contributed a great deal to the development of sociology. Auguste Comte, Herbert Spencer, Emile Durkheim and Max Weber were considered as the founding fathers of sociology. They have contributed for the development of sociology as a scientific discipline through their empirical and theoretical studies. Karl Marx, Lester F. Ward, George Simmel, Alfred Wehrkant, Gabriel Tarde, Small, Giddings, C. H. Cooley, James Ward, L. T. Hobhouse, E. A. Westermarck, Pareto, E. B. Tyler, J. G. Fraser, B. Malinowski, and others are some of them who have contributed for the development of sociology. Sociology experienced a rapid development in the 20th century, most notably in France, Germany, the United States, and England. Recently, famous sociologists like P. A. Sorokin, Talcott Parsons, R. K. Merton, R. M. McIver, M. Ginsberg, Kingsley Davis, W. F. Ogburn, A. W. Green, Kimball Young, P. G. Murdoch, E. A. Ross, Wilbert Moore, Carl Mannheim, M. N. Srinivas, G. S. Gurye, and a host of others have further enriched the subject by their social investigations and writings. Today, sociology is firmly established as a scientific discipline. The developments of the 20th century provided a great stimulus for the study of social sciences in general and sociology in particular. All major universities in the world now offering sociology at undergraduate and postgraduate level. They have established full-fledged department of sociology offering UG, PG and PhD courses in sociology across the globe. Sociology was introduced to India as an academic discipline only after World War I. Since then, being closely allied with anthropology, it is forging ahead in India. The sociological movement has gained some momentum in Bombay with its mouthpiece Sociological Bulletin. Some prominent sociologists of our country like G. S. Gurye, R. K. Mukherjee, D. P. Mukherjee, K. M. Kapadia, R. N. Saxena, Mrs. Airavati Karve, Benai K. Sarkar, A. Ayyappan, D. N. Majumdar, M. N. Srinivas, M. S. Gore, S. C. Dubey, P. N. Prabhu, A. R. Desai and others have contributed their might to the enrichment of the discipline. India, with its diverse cultural peculiarities, provided wonderful opportunities for sociological researches and studies. Sociology is now taught in many universities and colleges as one of the major disciplines. It is more popular in almost all the universities in the country. Many government organizations, research institutions and non-governmental organizations are providing employment opportunities for the students and research scholars who have pursued sociology at graduate and postgraduate level. Sociology as a scholarly discipline emerged primarily out of Enlightenment thought as a positivist science of society. In fact, sociology has emerged as a scientific discipline in response to the understanding and analysis of the changes and problems that have emerged due to the impact of Industrial Revolution and French Revolution. Basically, it tries to provide the scientific knowledge in relation to the changing social institutions, social structure and various social issues persisting in modern industrial society. This scientific knowledge was very much useful to solve many problems in European society.